There we go. Okay, so we are live. Welcome everybody to the expert interview series. This is a series where I have expert guests that deliver instant results in your business. So they're going to give you their best tip or strategy that's going to help you move forward in your business. And I have guests from all different walks of life, all different topics, because I believe that, being an entrepreneur is a personal journey. And so it involves not just how to get online, how the marketing strategies, but it involves like everything in our life. So today we have a great expert, and I'm really excited for you to hear her speak about her story and what she does in the world, because she's up to some major big things. But before we get started, why don't you just, if you're watching live or watching the replay, go ahead and let me know what kind of weather it is there. We've been having some crazy weather here in California. It actually snowed a little bit yesterday. I was about a mile up the road and it was snow flurries, and last week it was 80 degrees. So let me know, where are you from and what is the weather like where you are? Just kind of fun facts, right? My name is Lisa Mizels. I'm the host of the Expert Interview Series, and I'm also the creator of Unleash Your Mojo Online, where I help women entrepreneurs get visible and get noticed by their ideal clients. So that's what I do over in my company. But what I want you to do is, if you haven't already liked my page, if you would like my page, that would be awesome. If you want to give us some hearts or some thumbs ups or anything fun you want to put down in the comments, that would be awesome. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to introduce my guest today, Altovise Pelzer. And I said that right, Altovise? Altovise? Did I say that right?
Sure
Yes.
did.
Okay. Okay. It's a beautiful name. She was telling me a little bit beforehand the story, but I'll let her explain it. But it's a French name and it's just beautiful. So welcome. And you're going to be talking about leveraging your pain, which is really such an important part of what we do as business owners, but when we really connect at that emotional level, and you're going to be talking all about that, so I'm really excited. But before we dive in, let me just let the listeners, the viewers, know a little bit more about you. So I'm going to read your bio here. Altovise Pelzer moved from Maryland to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She's a best-selling author, professional speaker, podcaster, VIP live streamer, life coach, and founder of the online Your Voice and Reactive Me communities. At her core, she's the mom of four. She has been known to break out into impromptu dance parties or karaoke moments with her three girls or watch movies with her son. Homelessness and molestation greatly affected Altovise's decision to motivate women and youth to find their unique voice. She takes women from abuse to applause by equipping them to define, accept, and use their unique voice as a speaker or author. Women after abuse go through numerous self-harming actions that start with a seed of low self-esteem. Through e-courses, live events, books, and social media, Altovise wants to touch and transform the lives of women globally, one woman at a time. Welcome, Altovise. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Lisa. I am so excited to be with you tonight.
Yeah, I'm really excited for people to hear your story and know about you. And that's, I wanted to hear about it, but I want everybody to know what you're up to, because this is such important work. And I know that there's a lot of women that want to do this work, but they're not able to actually make it a lucrative business. So tell us a little bit, like, how you got to, we know where you came from, but how did you get to be doing what you're doing and, be this big, impactful speaker, author, and online business owner?
So it's been a very interesting journey. And literally, the journey is definitely not over.
Yeah.
It started in 2009. I found out that my girls had been molested.
Oh,
And going through that process of trying to figure out what was my next step, what was I going to do to help them, how was I going to move forward from that particular moment. Uh, it's not really uh, it's something that you can really sit down and strategize out and make this perfect plan. So it was kind of like fumbling around in the dark trying to figure it out.
yeah.
And at that time, no one had known about me being molested as a child. So it kind of opened some wounds that I had.
Wow.
But I still at that time had not spoken about it or told anyone about it. And so we went from that to court, and luckily they did not have to testify. But we did end up moving to Maryland, a whole nother state, where we knew only, a small amount of family. And it was this whole regeneration process. So we're trying to regenerate, trying to get back that energy, that joy, that happiness. I know for a long time, laughter was not on the menu, or very rarely on the menu. And so we went through this whole process of trying to find a job, trying to find a place for us to stay and things of that nature. And it was in 2015 that in a conversation I had with my oldest daughter, I kind of blurted it out about me being molested as well. And, it was one of those moments where you just wish you could grab the words out of the air and kind of like snatch them back and swallow them. And it didn't work that way. It definitely didn't work that way, but it did open up the conversation for me to have with my children about some of the things that I had been through, not the whole story.
Yeah.
But it was a little later down the line that I was talking to my oldest daughter, and I asked her, the question, what was her most proud moment of me? And she said it was that conversation.
Wow.
And that changed everything for me. It was, okay, so if I could change her perspective about, what she's been through, that she's not alone, that, there's some things that she can go through, but she has somebody who understands, then what can I do for other women?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, definitely.
Sure. Wow. So just from in a couple years, just from 2015, wow, that's amazing. So let's talk a little bit about leveraging your pain, because I know that that's what you speak about. And tell us a little bit of what you speak about and how this can help give our listeners, our viewers, an instant result in their business, which I know it can, by the way.
So the biggest thing that I've found out was that, of course, oftentimes the things that rub you the wrong way become something that you can really be passionate about. Sure. Something that can really fuel you, and make you have this big desire to change it.
Yes.
A lot of times when business owners get that passionate thing, get that thing that they really are like, no, I have to make a change in this area. Mm-hmm. They literally find that that's going to be the most productive thing in their lives. That's going to be the thing that generates money, even when they're not, attempting to generate money. It's going to, put them on platforms that they never really expected. Yes. And the problem comes in is that oftentimes when we go through pain, we don't want to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We don't want to share. Nobody wants to stand in front of an audience of 1,000 and say, I was an alcoholic for 3 years or things of that nature. Mm-hmm. No one wants to be that person that people are kind of like pointing at or staring at or talking about in low tones. So we don't see the power in our story.
That is so true. It's like it's the shame, right? It's getting past the shame, knowing that you're not alone, and being able to help others, which is what you've done. But it's that first step of going through it is the first step, right? And then acknowledging that you can't. So how does it go from acknowledging that you've been there to actually being okay sharing it?
So what I ended up doing was in 2016, I published my first book, and then I published my second book. But my second book was literally the process that I went through, and it's called Define My Voice. And literally it was, okay, I had to shut out what I thought people were going to think.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one. We put this perception on people that we think that they're going to talk about us. We think that they're going to think negatively about us. We think that they're going to shame us. They're not going to want to be bothered with us. And the biggest piece of it is we think that our story isn't something that can help somebody else. So
Yes,
that's the biggest piece, is we have to change the mindset first. We see that even right now with the whole hashtag Me Too, it was one person telling the story that everybody else was ashamed to say. That's opened up the door for so many people.
Yeah, that's so true. I think being able to be non-judgmental of yourself, because that's what we're doing when we think other people are going to be, perceiving us as whatever we think. That's our projection outward, right? That's us judging ourselves and thinking everybody else is doing that. So that's a great point that you make there. And I think you know just being able, knowing somewhere that you can help somebody, one person, with your story. It starts there, right? Just with the one person.
Exactly. I remember in the beginning, and I'm an introvert, so I like, me being on a couch reading a book, listening to a podcast, that's me all day.
Yeah.
Me being in front of 200 women and, telling them my story, that was never where I saw myself going. And I live stream, and even doing that, I took a course to learn the basics, and I was just like, okay, so here we go. Here it is. But I had a moment where I would normally go live in the morning, and it was called the Morning Press. And I would go live on Periscope and live on Facebook, and normally like 6:30 in the morning. Well, 6:30 in the morning, because I'm on the East Coast, is 3:30 in the morning on the West Coast.
Sure.
And I had someone who was on the West Coast who was listening into the broadcast. And the topic was, us not having conversations with our family because of what we've been through. And we're kind of a lot of families right now are estranged, and they're not really, like, they're literally at ends. I mean, at this point, we're divorcing parents. So we really have come a long way, right? So I said, well, a lot of times, sometimes we just need to sit down and have that conversation and say, okay, well, what really happened here? And she had made mention that, the reason why she wasn't talking to her family was because of her being molested and raped. And, the disbelief, and it kind of tore them apart as a family. And here it is. This woman has never met me a day in her life. I've never met her. She can see my face, of course, but I can't see hers. And it was just by happenstance that she was awake, because her kitten got stuck underneath the sink.
Wow.
And, in the whole conversation, one of the things that she said she started crying. She said, in this whole process, I think that was the one thing that I have not done, was I haven't cried about this. I haven't really sat down and really let the emotions out. And with that being said, I said, okay, wow, that's interesting. It blew me away, because the title of my first book was It's Okay to Cry. So I said, okay, that was confirmation. I'm where I need to be.
Oh my gosh. So how does faith play into this? I mean, I have no idea what your background is, but I'm just curious. Does it have a place?
That is the funniest story ever. But I enjoy telling this story, even though it doesn't feel good at times. December 31st of 2015, I was evicted from my home and literally moved everything out that day. Of course, when they evict you, you got to put everything on the side of on the sidewalk. And, we already had a moving truck. So moved everything into storage and went and stayed with a family friend. And the next day, January 1st, I had a moment. I had a flight that I had already planned out that I was supposed to be taking. And I said, okay, do I take the flight, or do I stay home and try to figure this out, or stay home and cry about it? Because previously it would have been, I would have canceled everything and went to my secret place and just, completely fell apart on the inside and the outside. And I said, no, I'm going to take this flight. I'm going to go ahead and take it. We're going to go ahead forward. And I go take the flight. The first flight, everything's fine. Go to the layover, take the second flight. There's nothing on my ticket. So I go to the booth and they're like, okay, well, just go in with group 2. I said, okay, well, no problem. I get in line. They call group 2. I'm in line with group 2 and they call my name. So I get back out of the line and I go back over to the booth and she hands me a ticket and the ticket says first class. And I said, wow, I had never taken a first class ticket anywhere. I had never even flown as much as I've flown in the last 2 years. I had never traveled as much as I've done in the last 2 years. And so that ticket was so many different things, because for me, it was stop thinking that you have to know what every step is going to look like.
Yes.
You're not going to know what every step is going to look like.
No.
And it was prayed over me and prophesied years earlier that I would be taking first class flights. So that brought that back to my memory as well. I was just like blown away, like a kid in a candy store.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's awesome. That's a great story. And that's true. I always say the magic is in the unknown. It's the hardest place to be. It's the hardest place to allow yourself to go, because we want control, right? We want to know, we plan, we have goals, we organize, and it's hard to just leave it up to whatever, right?
Exactly.
But sometimes that's what needs to happen for you to see that there is magic on the other side. I like the word magic. It's not like, I don't mean magic, but that there are miracles. There are things that happen that we don't even, the opportunities that we don't even see that we are meant for, that our control keeps us from. So I love that. Well, what kind of fun, exciting things do you have coming up that you want to tell the listeners and me about?
Oh my goodness. So I'm super excited because I have so much going on. I've just signed on to do some networking opportunities where I'll be host and /MC in several different cities across the US. This year, I'm actually doing my first tour, my own personal tour. So that'll be in a couple of different cities across the US. There are a few books that'll be published as well. I'm up to book number 8. Book number 9 will be out next month. So it's like,
gosh,
it's like exciting. But I always say that, that when you find that thing that you're passionate about, you just want to keep doing it. And so writing has always been something I've done since middle school. So being able to actually publish my books now and have people read the books and say, oh my goodness, the book is amazing. I love this book. Thank you for writing it. It just warms my heart.
Wow. Well, congratulations on all of your success. My goodness. How fun to be able to say, I'm going on my own tour, right?
Yes, I know. I'm like nervous and excited. And
So do you have somebody that plans these for you, or do you have an event planner that?
Yes, I have an event planner that I'm working with. I started out trying to do it on my own and realized that that is not my lane.
No, I don't think that would be a good idea because that would be a lot of work, right? I
Yes,
mean,
it is.
yeah, yeah.
Definitely. With finding the locations and wanting to put everything together for sponsorships and this and oh my goodness, it's a lot. So I was just like, no, let her handle that. I'll just be there.
That's great. Well, you're just amazing. Thank you so much for, so glad I met you. We met on LinkedIn and I'm so glad that we connected and that, that you decided to come onto the show. I just think what you're doing is amazing and I wanted to help spread the word. So thank you so much and keep on doing this amazing work that you're doing because I know it's just touching so many lives that just in a couple years, just think how your life shifted in just a couple years. And just, one little thing after another is what helps to change our lives. So thank you for your work. I so appreciate it. And
Being able to do it, it's amazing. And
yeah.
I tell people, last year I was able to walk away from my full-time job and I'm like, it just keep going up. As long as we keep going up, that's fine.
It's amazing. Well, where can people find you?
So they can definitely find me here on, of course, on Facebook, but I'm all across social media at Find Your Voice Now.
Okay.
Unless you're looking at Twitter. Twitter's a little different. So I'm at The Voice Coach on Twitter, but everywhere else is Find Your Voice Now.
Okay.
Periscope, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook.
I didn't even know Periscope was still around. It is?
No, it is. It fluctuates. It has its moments.
Okay, well that's great. Good to know. We started with what was it, Blab? Do you remember Blab when
Oh my goodness, yes, I remember Blab.
That was fun. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and edit this video so that we can put your link to your website or your Twitter or whatever you want me to. And so for the viewers, you can come back to this page and it will be, you can click on the link and then.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and for everybody that's watching either the live or the replay, let us know if you have any questions for Altovise, and I know she'd be happy to come back and answer any questions that you have.
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean anything about writing books or about pain or about anything that you are experiencing that she's spoken about, yes, feel free to write your comments. And gosh, I want to thank you so much again. So thanks so much for being here. And I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Goodbye to you. And we will see you next week. I'll be back on Friday for another guest expert interview at noon Pacific time. So I'll see you then.